Hey, Rob here, and welcome to my new podcast, The Way. Before I even get going, I'm going to give you the usual thing. If you like it, subscribe it. Please feel free to post and share these videos anywhere where you feel that they may be beneficial. Even sharing them with friends, wherever. Anyway, today's episode, the first episode, is called The Call to Live, Not Just to Know. We live in an age overflowing with knowledge, wisdom, advice, self-improvement techniques. Our bookshelves are filled with self-help books. It's there at our fingertips. And we can access lectures from world-class scholars, watch endless spiritual talks, and consume this information faster than ever before. Yet my thought is, despite all this, how many of us truly live what we know? What good is knowing if it does not transform and change who we are? This is not a question for scholars and philosophers alone. It speaks directly into our modern world. We admire wisdom, but often fail to embody it. We follow inspirational figures, read spiritual books, and share quotes about peace and love and wonderful things. Yet, when faced with challenges, do we actually live these truths? Do we meet frustration with gentleness? Do we choose faith over fear? A world of knowledge, a world hungry for wisdom. Social media, podcasts, and online courses offer limitless access to knowledge. But has it made us wiser? Or just are we more opinionated about these ideas? Many seek identity in being knowledgeable, forgetting that true wisdom is lived, not learned. The early Celtic Christian monks understood this exceedingly well. They didn't just sit around talking theology in ivory towers. They walked the land. They walked the coast. They tended to the land, and they lived in rhythm with God. Their faith was not a subject of mere discussion. It was a way of being. The question remains, as relevant today as ever, are we collecting ideas? Just sticking them in that wonderful bag of ideas, or are we letting them transform us? This difference between knowledge and wisdom has never been starker. We are bombarded with information, yet we are starved of depth. We chase after facts, after statistics and spiritual insights, but seldom pause long enough to let them take root in our hearts. There is a quiet arrogance in assuming that simply knowing something means we've mastered it. True wisdom is slow. Mastery is a lifetime's work. It takes time. It seeps into your bones, into every cell and fiber and every muscle of your being through experience, through reflection, through living it. And the idea of importance, this illusion of importance, there is a danger in the vanity of knowledge for its own sake. Today, this might look like measuring self-worth by achievements or credentials, seeking spiritual insights, but refusing to surrender pride, debating truth rather than living truth, amassing knowledge, but resisting the transformation that it can bring. We are conditioned to believe that the more we know, the more we are worth. Intelligence, status, and influence have become markers of value, but the true spiritual path does not reward the most knowledgeable. It rewards the most humble. Those who live their faith quietly, without need for recognition, are the ones who truly walk in wisdom. This is a difficult truth in a world that thrives on visibility. We want to be seen as wise, enlightened, successful. But the most profound wisdom often grows in hidden places. It's not found in loud declarations or in public debates. It is found in the quiet moment, when we choose kindness over judgment, faith over cynicism, humility over importance. And so we need to walk our path, not just talk about it. And what does that look like in today's society? Well, it's easy to talk about the need for peace in the world, but do we cultivate peace within ourselves? It's easy to admire those who serve the poor, but do we make space in our own lives to serve? It's easy to quote scripture, but do we embody the teachings? We certainly do not need more opinions about faith. There are libraries full of opinions about faith. What we actually need is more people living it, more people embodying faith. Living truth is not always grand or dramatic. Often it is in the small, unnoticed moments. Holding your tongue when anger rises. Offering a kind word or gesture to a stranger, choosing patience when things don't go your way. Sitting in silence and listening rather than rushing to speak. Each of these moments is an opportunity to move from knowledge to practice, from ideas to embodiment. The spiritual path is not about accumulating more information, but about being willing to be changed by what we already know. The call is not to accumulate that knowledge, but to be transformed by it. The challenge is a simple but radical one. Live the truth you seek. Not just in words, not just in what we claim to believe, but in the very way we live, breathe, and move through this world. And one of our greatest obstacles to true wisdom is our attachment to being right. We need to let go of the need to be right. We crave validation. We want to prove our point. We want to be seen as knowledgeable and insightful. But wisdom is not about winning arguments. The most unwise people in the world can win arguments. Wisdom is about transformation. We see this in the way that we interact online now. How often have you seen like the most innocent comment put out on Facebook or on social media and it explodes into a tirade of blah, blah, blah and becomes a battleground? How often do people enter into conversations not to understand, not to go, wow, that's something different. I never looked at it that way. No, they don't do that. They go, you're wrong, to prove their viewpoint. I once sat in Shrewsbury, a local town to me, where there was a street preacher, a really hot day, and I could see that the sun was beginning to cook his melon. He was going very red on top. And having performed for over 20 years, I know the importance of hydration when you're out in the sun talking like that. So I brought 2 bottles of water, one for himself, one for myself. And I gave it to him, said, look, I know what it's like being out here. Please, here's some water. Make sure you're okay. And he carried on for a bit longer, and then he came and sat with me, and we chatted. We chatted for an hour, and I'll give him his credit. He listened. But actually he didn't. Because at the end of everything I'd said about how I perceive God and how he just turned around to me and said, oh, I hear what you're saying, but you're wrong. And all he'd been waiting for, and he missed the point, all he'd been waiting for, he'd listened, but only long enough so he could then turn around and say, you're wrong, and it's actually this way. That's not wisdom. That's just ego going, ha ha ha, look at me, I am correct, I am right. That's not transformative, that's restrictive. When we hold on to the desire to be right, we limit our own worlds by closing the doors to other possibilities. We see this in the way that we interact online, like I say, and like I say, even in spiritual circles. People argue over theology, philosophy, the correct way to practice. But what does any of this matter if we're not becoming more like Christ? What does any of this matter at all if we are not becoming transformed and becoming better people? There's a deep humility in being willing to say, I do not need to be right. I do not need to win this debate. I only need to walk in love. I only need to walk in love. Letting go of the need to be right allows us to listen. It allows us to be soft. It allows us to grow. It allows us to be transformed in ways we could not have imagined. And if we remain rigid and attached to our perspectives, that growth becomes limited. So I invite you, here's an invitation for today. Perhaps today is a moment to pause, to shift from seeing knowledge to embodying wisdom. I wonder how you can do that today. Embody wisdom. To let go of the need to be right, to be admired, or to be knowledgeable. Simply to ask, how can I live more like Christ today? Now, there'll be some people who've listened to this so far, kind of, maybe you're not really a Christ person, maybe you're not a Christian, maybe you're not, that way inclined. Maybe you're just spiritual. Maybe you're just not at all. Maybe you're an atheist. Great. I hold that same invitation to you. How can you live more like Christ today? Because forget all the church, forget all that. At the heart of the New Testament is a way of being, a way of living our lives that does transform us. It does change us. It gives us goals and things to aim for, a way of being, a way of loving and turning up in the world. That if you did that alone would make your life and the life of people around you better. Trust me. Go back and watch one of my videos where I'm talking about my own journey that brought me to this place. So I invite you, how can you live more like Christ today? How can you grow and be transformed? How can you walk with love today? It's not about grand gestures. It is about the quiet, unnoticed choices that shape the soul. It's about choosing love when it is difficult, choosing patience when it's inconvenient, choosing faith when the world is uncertain, hope over despair. The world really does not need more people who know about faith. It doesn't need more people who believe they don't know about faith and that faith is all hokum. What it needs is people that embody it. Embody the belief that there is something better and that we have the potential to become more like Christ. So, my friends, today, let us walk the path, not just speak of it. Let us walk the way with love. Many blessings, much love, and I shall see you in the next episode of The Way. Take care.